I just wanted to say happy birthday to Mom and say this song for her. Happy birthday to you.
6-year-old Abigail Taylor singing happy birthday to her mom.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
It's one of the final phone calls Abby ever made. She died March 20th, 2008, 9 months after being disemboweled by the drain in the kiddie pool at the Mineapolis Golf Club. 1 minute, Abby splished and splashed in 18 inches of water, trusting, just like her parents, Scott and Katie, that the club's private pool was safe. But as that hot summer day ended, Abby, a strong swimmer and member of the Mineapolis Golf Club swim team, fell on the pool's uncovered drain. The suction pulled her intestines into the drain system, something the Mineapolis Golf Club knew could lead to death. Educated, certified pool professionals and club management at MGC knew that the uncovered drain cover in this shallow kiddie pool was the most dangerous possible condition in the entire complex. But amazingly, lifeguards were never told of the danger. Neither were any of the club members. And what none of them knew, especially Scott and Katie, is that their daughter Abigail's death sentence was signed before she was even born. It was back in 1999 when Mineapolis Golf Club certified pool operator first cut corners by jerry-rigging a new drain cover on a worn-out frame. And over the years that followed, instead of fixing the drain cover assembly, the club ensured Abby's death by cutting corners again to save a little money. The cost, Abigail Taylor's life. Documents and testimony reveal that from 1999 to the time of Abby's evisceration, the so-called pool professionals at the Mineapolis Golf Club, year after year, had chance after chance to make the right choice when it came to pool safety. But time after time, management made the wrong choice. Now, Abigail Taylor is dead. As far back as 1999, before Abbey Taylor was born, when rushing to prepare the club for pool inspection and opening, the certified pool operator at the time, Joe Strum, noticed damage to the drain. He purchased a new drain cover and frame, but decided only to affix the new cover to the old frame by drilling new holes through the side of the old frame, actually through the manufacturer's warning that he knew should not have been drilled. All because he was pressured by club management to have the pool open for Memorial Day 1999. Expediency was the club's excuse in 1999, but Strom used the same worn-out frame in 2000 and 2001, without that lame excuse. In 2002, the club's new certified pool operator once again bought drain cover assembly, frame, cover, and screws, and once again failed to use or install the new frame, again affixing the new cover to Strom's worn-out and now adulterated frame. In 2003, the club hired Alan Clemish as its certified pool operator. Clemish admits that over the years, he repeatedly secured the 2002 drain cover by using the holes Strom had drilled into the adulterated frame in 1999, even though the drain cover's maker's instructions specifically said not to do that. By 2005, the screw holes in the frame were so misshapen that the screws could no longer keep the drain cover in place. In late May of 2007, Clemish pushed the plastic anchors in the misshapen holes with his thumb and tried to secure the drain cover with non-stainless steel sheetrock screws. Again, instead of replacing the drain frame, which needed replacing almost a decade earlier for just a couple $100, Clemish opted for a 50-cent fix.
So the choice is between spending $100 to $200 or using molly anchors, which cost you, what, 50 cents?
Right.
And you chose the 50-cent alternative?
Right.
That you learned in the CPO course that certain chemicals can corrode metals. Do you remember that?
Correct.
You had no concern about those screws rusting?
No, because the wading pool's open 3 months. A screw is not going to corrode away in 3 months.
But this photo of the screw after Abby's evisceration proves that Clemish is wrong. Even so, the 50-cent fix was the sort of fix applauded by the Mineapolis Golf Club general manager Ray Clemmis. He considered the pools a nuisance and didn't want to spend money to keep them safe.
In my opinion, Mr. Clemens would like to see it closed for good. He's not a lover of the pools.
The mission statement of the club is basically devoted to the golf. I mean, that is the kind of overriding concept of the mission statement.
Primary concept of the club, yes.
You know, if the pools ever existed there, I don't think it would bother Ray at all.
Okay.
In fact, Ray Clemmis cared so little about the pools that he hired this woman, Jennifer Lukey, to be the golf club's pool director. She applied to be a bartender.
Yes, I applied to be a server and a bartender.
And never applied to be the pool director.
No.
Were you ever a lifeguard?
No.
Have you ever had American Red Cross training as a lifeguard?
I did training, but I've never been certified.
Lukey had never been a lifeguard, yet part of the written scope of her duties included training.
Okay. If I understand what you just said, it seems to me that the Minneapolis Golf Club, in your view, did not give you the tools to train the lifeguards effectively. Is that true?
That's true.
So they told you what they did?
Yes. Like how they'd done it in the previous years and how...
So rather than you training the lifeguards, the lifeguard trained you?
That's how I learned.
Okay.
What they did.
You came to this job without an understanding of what the lifeguards at the Minneapolis Golf Club pool complex did, is that correct?
I understood enough from when I was a server, because I would help them out once in a while. They'd say, hey, can you help out? So I knew the general duties that they did as a lifeguard, just from being a server, being out in the pool, and sometimes servers help out lifeguards, picking up towels, putting down chairs, things
You
like
didn't wear a
that.
swimsuit, though?
No.
You weren't required to do life-saving or
No, or not
other...
required to sit on the stand, no.
In addition to her lack of training, Lukey, the pool director, was also unaware of the drain cover in use in the kiddie pool.
Well, did you see any such drain cover in the bottom of the wading pool?
Yes.
Was it rectangular with holes in it?
Yes.
So that was in the bottom of the wading pool?
Yes.
Okay.
2 weeks before Abby's evisceration, Ray Clemmis sent this memo to the members of the Mineapolis Golf Club, announcing that a leak was found under the kiddie pool, forcing the kiddie pool to be closed for the rest of the summer. When some members pushed back, Clemmis announced a temporary fix, and that the pool would stay open. The fix, a temporary plumbing bypass that may have stopped water from leaking, but increased the suction at the main drain. On June 21, 2007, General Manager Ray Clemmis, bartender turned pool director Jennifer Lukey, and other managers at the Minneapolis Golf Club all learned the deadly dangers of suction and missing pool drain covers from Alan Clemmis himself. They knew the combination could lead to disembowelment and even death. They knew because certified pool operator Clemmis talked about it at a meeting. Here are the minutes. This warning was part of Clemmis's certification program. He had to learn the risks to become certified. But none of this information was passed on to the lifeguards after the June 21st meeting. Here's some of what they said under oath. And there's more. The lifeguards weren't told, and Clemish ignored these very risks when attaching the main drain cover to the broken drain frame with non-stainless steel screws and bypassing the skimmer line to stop a leak. In fact, the Minnesota Department of Health cited the club, stating, "The wading pool and equipment were not maintained in a properly operating condition. The cover for the main drain of the pool was not securely attached to the mounting frame. The wading pool and related facilities and equipment were not operated and maintained in working condition. The main drain cover of the pool had been attached with improper fasteners and worn mountings. No one was available to respond to the unsafe and unsanitary conditions of the pool on the day of Abigail's injury." The operations manual provided to the Minnesota Department of Health by the Mineapolis Golf Club did not include the installation sheet for the wading pool drain cover. The Mineapolis Golf Club did not maintain a record of the pool's operation and maintenance. The Minneapolis Golf Club failed to report the serious injury that required assistance from emergency personnel to the Minnesota Department of Health. The wading pool water was cloudy. The wading pool main drain outlet was not covered by grating, not readily removable by users. On June 29, 2007, roughly a week after Alan Clemish talked about the dangers of broken pool drain covers and suction, a little boy playing with Abbey Taylor in the kiddie pool snagged his foot on one of those sheetrock screws by the drain. Parents tried their own fix, one wading through murky waters to push the drain cover back on the drain. A lifeguard says Abby's mom, Katie, gave him one of the screws that fell out of the drain cover. This is what the lifeguard said Katie told him when she handed him the screw. But the lifeguards did nothing because they'd been told not to guard the kiddie pool. In fact, here's what one of them said under oath. As that sun-drenched day came to an end, Abbey Taylor fell on the uncovered drain. The suction so strong, it pulled her intestines through her rectum. This is the story of how the Mineapolis Golf Club could have spent $200 to install a safe drain assembly, but instead spent 50 cents and left a little girl dead. This is the story of how the Mineapolis Golf Club could have empowered its pool professionals to ensure its pools and equipment were safe, but instead encouraged careless, deadly behavior. This is the story of how the Mineapolis Golf Club could have hired a qualified pool director who knew how to guard lives, but instead hired a wannabe bartender unfit to teach and supervise college and high school kids just trying to do a good job. This is the story of Abbey Taylor, a 6-year-old girl who just wanted to splish and splash, but became the poster child for what happens when adults are negligent, careless, and place cost savings before